It's two conscious guys talking, where conscious male leaders come together and have a discussion that is deep, that is nourishing, that allows us to see the illumination of consciousness that's unfolding progressively for men that are waking up in the world, and where you can get insights on your own awakening as a man, and also for amazing women that want to learn more about men's challenges and struggles that have created some of the dysfunction we've seen within men in its society, often called, quote unquote, the patriarchy and other terms. What created it? What is the genesis of it all? What can we do about it today to empower men to be all that they're meant to be and to support the awakening of consciousness for men and women and all? Hey, you go by Pepe these days?
I always use my Pepe also. That is my, how to say, you can call me short by telling me, Pepe, how you doing?
Jose Javier, yes, and Pepe, it's all good, right? We all got our different
Yeah,
handles and whatnot, right? Cool. Well, it's great to be with you today. Yeah, it's always cool to see you guys on social media out on the beaches and out there in Mexico and whatnot and enjoying life. You too, you and Natty. So, how are you today?
I'm doing amazing. It has been amazing days since this year, 2024 started. It just can be blessing after blessing. Like,
Wow.
yeah. And the best part is I've been able to go to the beach almost all days this year. Like this year I went to the beach more times like than last year, and last year I you know that I go a lot to the beach.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh, wonderful. Just even more of what you enjoy the most, right? Huh.
Yes, I'm a real simple guy. So, really simple. Like if I'm just sit down by the beach, I will be really uh, like I don't I it's like that's abundance. Just
Yeah.
being able to be there and relax and stop not thinking about what you have to do next or stuff like that. Just be able to be there because or to just to don't think or just to enjoy the beach. That's something that almost anybody can do that. No,
Mm.
nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just a time to just soak in life and enjoy the treasure that is life itself. Because if you don't have that in your life, you're definitely going to start having some sort of issues, including mental health issues, likely eventually. Because, yeah, the mind gets out of control. It starts saying we're lacking, we're not in abundance, we need something different, something more, something this, something that, and the million things. I need the million things in order to have the one thing, which is all the abundance that life has in every moment, right?
Right. And today, when you invite me to speak today, you tell me about a topic, and I told you I have a topic that I have never do it in Spanish because it is too bold, and they will fire me up if I say if I try to explain what I know about sexuality and mental health.
Uh-huh. Oh, interesting.
So if I try to speak this in my language and I say this to the people that they know me, they will they will get enraged. So maybe I say like maybe the United States is a better place to speak about this. Maybe they will burn your program after this one.
Yeah, I mean there are. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's so much information flowing these days, but there's a lot of the concern, at least, of non-acceptance, and there are people that have strong reactions to what we share. No doubt about it. I'm someone that says talks to people about Jesus and channeling Jesus, and I do all these things, and there's definitely people that would be very opposed to me in the world. We got to keep showing up. Sex is one of those taboos. Second only maybe to money. Money is the biggest taboo. It seems like everybody.
Yeah, well, I can tell you something. I had a relationship with money, but even when I had the relationship with money, I didn't have a good relationship with sex. And being honest, it is easier to make money than to having a sexual relationship that you feel fulfilled in life, or you feel like, oh my God, I feel good. So you, there are a lot of people that have a lot of money that they will pay for being able to feel what I feel in any moment of my life.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's a big topic. We'll do what we can to cover such an expansive topic today. So as we're talking about sexuality and mental health, I mean, what is the connection with that? I mean, there's, usually with guys and sexuality these days, one of the big topics always is, yeah, the guys are into the porn, and that's where they get all caught up. And yeah, there's they're becoming addicted to porn, and yeah, their wives or their girlfriends or their hookups are going to be able to provide them with the level that the fantasy of what pornography offers, and that's much more stimulating, or like there's all kinds of things. And but then ultimately mental health is suffering, right? I've talked to guys through the years about pornography. Some say I've got a problem with it, I got to stop watching porn. And there's other guys that are like, no, I think it's kind of okay, I can kind of
Yeah,
watch it, it's fine. And I don't have a big opinion about it. It depends on how it's affecting that person, I suppose. Although I think most of the time it's feeding a darker energy, usually, most of the time. But but anyway, yeah, I'd love you to hear your perspective on that aspect. Because what are guys doing with their sexuality? They're masturbating, they're watching porn. I'm thinking about the majority, right? And then yeah, some have good relationships with their wives or their partners and have good sex or whatever. But I think there's a lot of variation on that, and that all impacts your mental health for sure.
yeah. Well, for me, mental health is when it's like you can you can change, as I told you, sex for money in the world. You can have money or you can lack the energy of money.
Hmm.
So there are many people they are lacking their sexuality, and they don't have an sexual identity, knowing what they want or something like that. When I talk about mental health, it is when people have been so disconnected about sexuality that they believe they don't need it. But then you can see these people acting in the most weird, crazy ideas or stuff. Really, people that are really good people, like priests,
Hmm.
they tend to be more sexually violent with kids sometimes. That is not because they are bad people. They had the spiritual calling, they had this thing, and they wanted to do most of the time well, but we are still animals, and we still have these needs. And you can try to lie to yourself, but when you're lying to yourself, you will see crazy stuff working in the back door, in the back part of your life, and you're never seeing this because you are never trying to see sexuality, because most people are evading this topic. They don't want to realize that we have this animal part inside of us. We think that we can control it with a lot of logical stuff, but we have done it. But at the same time, you can see that there are problems. There are problems when most of my clients has been people that have been sexually abused. Somehow here in Latin America, that is so common. And I know that in the United States, that will be also common if people start to speak more. And a lot of people that in the 40s and 50s, they start to speak about their childhood. You see the artists, you see a lot of people that when they start to speak, look, I lived this. And then you say, oh, now I realize why she thinks like that. Oh, now I.
Hmm.
So sometimes, but I said like the lacking of sexuality make parents have kids, and they are not thinking of the what can happen, because I don't know, they are in another world. Like here in Latin America, we say, please talk about sexuality to the kids. Don't drop the kid, and don't you have to speak about what they're able to do, what they're not able to do, with who they are able to do. Take a shower with just dad and mom. Nobody can touch you. Just mom and just mom and dad or grandpa. But being able to speak every time. My wife, she had several sexual abuse when she was a child, and what is fun is like I didn't see these problems, but I didn't see these problems because the one that take care of me when I was a child was my grandmother that also suffered for several children abuse. So my wife has the same attitudes like my grandmother, and as I'm used to it and I have this normalized it, I just get in love with her. But the thing is, like years later, we're having a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and the problems are not about. We think that the problem was money. Then we make money, but then we realize that the money wasn't the issue. It was her sexual and my sexual wounds, because her sexual wounds were real. Mine were established because my mom was also a child that was abused. So she programmed me in a way that I'm going to be a good boy. I have to go to church. That I have to be. You are like a shining prince, armor, and you never talk about sex. You never. And I raise up like a really child. That will be the like a grown up child. That's what happened to me. So my clients, thankfully, and my life has shown me that the many problems about not taking sexuality really important, because you can have money, you can have this, and this, but you won't feel fulfilled in life if you don't know what is love, and you get a true connection, and you know how to love your partner and how to do stuff you want. And in the lack of that, you will find mental health problems, like people that they don't care, they care about sex. They let the children to get themselves the horrible wounds in the future. They're not connected to themselves.
Right.
Worse to somebody else. And we learn this through our life, so we fix this. And we know what are the problems of not being connected to your sexuality.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, with the background with Christianity, being really strong within your culture, my culture, and whatnot, and it's the idea of that's just for marriage and mostly for procreation. It's almost like that kind of vibe sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. How different will be the world if we teach our children instead of saying this, hey, you want to travel the world, right? And you want to live everywhere, right? Just go live, be free. I teach my daughter like this. Like, look, you are like anybody. I have never speak to her like this is what people guys think and this is what we know. She is free as anybody else, but she has to take charge of her because you don't want her to be pregnant, and she doesn't want to get pregnant at all. So we teach this when she was really from age 0. Like we speak really bold about this, so it's not like, oh my god, what he's speaking.
That's interesting. It's a different approach for sure that most people wouldn't take, but
but how different will be the world? Just imagine, everybody is happy, everybody, like, you don't have to marry with the first one. I have this conversation with my daughter. She asked me, hey dad, what do you think about masturbation? She was feeling guilty, and I told her, look, this is what happens if you don't learn to touch yourself first, and you don't know what you want. You will accept everybody, anyone in the world, and you won't find the one that makes you like, oh my god, I want to be with him. Oh my god, he really. And you don't need somebody to take charge of you. You need to be free yourself, and whatever comes is just a plus in your life. But don't accept less of what you can have by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot in there. I mean, the fact that your daughter is having that conversation with you, usually that's forbidden too. Like, no, you got to go to mom for that. I don't talk to, yeah, I'm the dad. I'm not supposed to talk to you about those things. And it's all these rules about how it's supposed to be taught to kids, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, we don't have that many rules because this is what we have learned with our life. Like this is here is my kid, as you can see. He doesn't understand English, so that's good. And he has heard me about talking about sex a lot, so they hear a lot of stuff. Ah,
Yeah, the kids are everywhere. Can't read
yeah,
the top of your head now. Yeah.
yeah. But anyhow, about sexuality is like we are like kids that we never learn how to speak with other kids. Like we get to be parents and we don't know how to speak about sexuality with our kids. And when we're expecting that they are 10 to 12 to feel in the blaming state of, I need to talk about this.
Hmm.
But reality is like, if you don't have communication with your kid, they won't be able to tell you when something bad is happening in any aspect of life. And what happened to my wife teach us the importance of being able to speak about everything.
Yeah.
If we don't have this, we won't be able to catch any problem in the moment that has to be catch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We will be 10 years late, 20 years late.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the wisdom in it too, is that if something's going on, that you've already made, this topic something that something we talk about, right?
Yeah, we have to
Yeah.
speak. We have to speak about the sexual abuse, not in a way that she's going to, my kid or my daughter will feel that sex is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about, you need to speak. You need to know with who with who not. You need to understand the importance of you. You are the one in charge of your own sexuality, but you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to make. You don't want, when we didn't have, look. I don't know if you have a guide. I didn't have any guide, so
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of issues and a lot of problems in my sexual life. A lot of stuff that right now I say like, oh my god, I'm feel so embarrassed about my past. But that was a man in Ecuador many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want that for my daughter. So I just want to be able to give her a better version of me and tell her, look, I was this. You need to understand this. How people think when you don't have, when you are lacking of many things.
Mm-hmm.
Sexuality is just an energy, and if you're lacking of that, you can smell it. It's like you can see this guy that picks kids. I don't know how this abuser. I don't know how
Pedophiles.
the pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
They see the kids and they know that kid is an easy target. They It's just like that.
Yep.
It's just energy. You see it. That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are not. They will never. They will never pick them. They scream too much. They are. They are always showing up and they're always jumping on the. You can see it. That he was like here.
Came
Yeah,
right in. Yeah.
yeah. And I prefer him like that than
Mm.
not doing whatever he can do, because I will speak later with him and say, look, that wasn't good.
Right. Right.
But anyhow, I still prefer that he's not acting at all.
Right. Right. That's interesting. So there's a lot of different nuggets coming through here, like around, I think just breaking down the walls, because I mean, the biggest thing in relationships, if we get down to that with sex, is everything's communication, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
you've got you both have a history, because I've had you on my show before, on my Spiritual Rockstar show, and we talked about this subject to a degree then too, and I know from then too, like some of the things you shared with me, and But yeah, the communication's the key is to work through things because communication is sexy. I mean, that's a huge piece of
Yeah,
building the connection, isn't it?
totally. And if you see, if you know my social media, and you know
Mm.
that our social media is bold, and you have a lot of beaches, bikinis,
Yeah.
a lot of sexy pics. You know that's our style.
Yeah.
But we weren't like that. We were not like that. We were opposite to that.
Right. Right.
We decided, we choose. We, in the other way, we live things that are not normal and people don't need to live. And this other side of life and acting like this, your manifestation are totally different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we choose this.
Mm-hmm. So how so because you didn't have a good relationship with your sexual energy, before. So
Yeah.
what were the I'd love to hear that arc of transformation for you. How did you start to really shift that?
Well, for me, it was hard at first because, as I told you, my wife had sexual abuse and she speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was no, I'm blaming all to you because you're sexual abuse, you're sexual abuse. That's what many people do.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, why I am with her, what attracts me to her, why this? So then I start to see myself, me being a good boy, me being acting like this, me not having the sexual life that I want to have,
Mm-hmm.
me pretending that I have a good life, money and stuff. Okay, but I don't feel like totally like I feel today now
Yeah.
in my moment.
Mm-hmm.
So what changed? There was a point that I take charge of me and my sexual story instead of trying to say that was my wife her with her story was, hey, this is me with my story. And the thing is like, yes, she lived horrible things, but I have horrible stuff in my mind because I never lived that, but I act worse than her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is like all the lack of sexuality that I had in my life, it goes somewhere, and it starts to build something in your brain that is like twisted and stuff like that, just
Mm-hmm.
because you're avoiding your sexuality.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Oh, I have a mental issue because I'm start to see sexuality like this and this twisted and this is twisted, and I have these desires and I have this. Oh my God, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then what is happening is like I never live my life. I never do the stuff. And I never enjoy it.
Mm.
So everything is going somewhere. Like I told you, like a priest, really, many of these priests, they never, if they go to their 20s, they will say, "I will never pick a kid. I will never put my hand on a kid." But if they don't live their sexuality, they will get hungry,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will start seeing things that shouldn't go.
Right. Right. Like other energies, if you suppress it, you just try to stuff it in a box, it's going to pop out somewhere. So it's
Yeah,
there,
but
right?
sexuality, oh my God, it goes directly to the mental health of someone. It goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, you're trying to be a good boy, and so I could see that happening. I mean, um, the idea of me being more assertive or more a feeling of commanding or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that kind of energy, and like it can have a sexy vibe to it, but it feels a little edgy because, whoa, am I domineering her now? And am I the old patriarchy stuff now because I'm acting like this? Or, all these ideas come in. But, what I've seen is like, if you're confident, if you're um, being in that natural energy that is there anyway, like it's
Mhm.
a turn on and it feels good if you allow yourself to feel that and to play with that. And I think it's too many labels, going on, too many concepts, right? We have to, like you said, be able to enjoy our life. And I mean, I think it's so simple in terms of like, making headway in this area of our life. Like, for goodness sakes, just, you know, take the first step you know to take to improve the situation, but you have to commit to it like anything. Like if we're in old patterns, we could tend to stick with the old patterns. Well, you know, I don't want to be, I want to be the good guy. Let me see if she's in the mood for, you know, like ask her if she's in the mood and like
Yeah.
or whatever. Like good luck with that. Like, no, I'm not in the mood. Okay, we're done. Like, right.
Yeah. No, no, and
Like,
we hear that a lot of times, like many relationships that they have went years without sex contact,
yeah, yeah.
and then they feel like they love each other, but they don't
Mhm.
know how to see themselves again like little animals.
Yeah.
But sometimes somebody appears and they send a message like, "Oh, I like you,"
Mm.
and some of them, and this really beautiful relationship splits up in a second because they believe that they don't have any sexual need. But if someone comes and just rub a little bit, believe me, it crumbles. It goes down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's nothing like the like everybody pretty much understands, right? When you have good sex, well, now you're both in a radiance that carries that moment or the day or whatever. Like, you know, it sets the tone, right? I mean, there's a sense of effortlessness and a sense of things are working and everything's harmonious now. Everything's working
Uh,
well. Whereas without that, you're like,
even if, when we talk about sex, even when we talk about sex, we believe that sex for men is using his tool.
hmm,
But in reality, many people they don't want to talk about sex and they don't want to go to sex because they feel that they cannot do it as well as they when they were young. And the, you know, mindset and the mind start to block and stuff, and they won't try to do anything because they will feel shame about not being able to
mm,
perform well.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
If
yeah.
you are hearing this, you need to know that that's normal, a normal thought. But reality is like nobody, women are not thinking about your tool much as your mentality and what you're saying and how you make feel a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel someone desire, that's sex.
Mm-hmm.
And many people do that because they go and chat by WhatsApp or hide the messages, and they're getting their sexual connection because they're feeling desire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they're not being sometimes totally honest or loyal. That's something else.
Mm, mm. Interesting. The fidelity aspect of that. Hmm.
Yeah,
They've got
because
secrets. They're hiding something, right?
it is
Yeah.
because fidelity goes with fidelity is having the same every day, but sex is like, as I told you, feeling desire. Is your biggest tool is not down; it's in your brain. How
Mhm.
you talk to a woman, how you make it. Oh my God, I feel honored to be with you. If you do that and the woman feels well, that's a connection
Yeah.
that goes before anything else.
Hmm.
But then people, I don't know how to explain this well, but they mix up stuff and they believe that sex is just sex. That sex goes beyond that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And how many people feel like with a sexual connection? I don't know. If I know that here in Latin America is like maybe 20%, but I will say that the United States is less than that because you have less time to think about sex that than average people in the world because you're always thinking of work, you're always thinking
Right.
of something else, you're always doing something, so you don't have time to use it to the pleasure and to fun and to, but you're losing life.
I need 3 hours on TikTok. I don't have time for sex. Yeah, people doing all with their time instead of focusing on that, right? So that's interesting. Yeah, the sense of rejection is always a thing, right? For the guys. I mean, what if I approach and then and then she doesn't want to, and then I feel rejected, or there's also that as well. There's so many aspects that
Mhm.
create the sense of, oh, like for me, I'm vigilant of how tired she looks. Like, oh, she's really tired. She's maybe not in the best mood, or whatever, right? Okay, don't approach, or whatever. And I mean, sometimes there's some wisdom to that, but I think, yeah, I mean, you have to stay open-minded, and I think, yeah, it's huge because there is that thing, because most people, when do they have sex? They have sex either first thing in the morning or late at night, right? I mean, if were to do a study, that's what you're going to find out. Like, they do it later at night, or they do it first thing in the morning, and the middle of the day is like almost non-existence for most people. Not everybody, but I'm saying most people. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, now we got rules there too, right? I mean, I know people are busy during the day, but the quickies or whatever, like, there's so much fun, right? There's so many opportunities if we're being spontaneous. And I know I have done that. I mean, I've got a lot of growth I could have in this area of my life, I'm sure, in terms of like frequency and all that sorts of things that could make my life, flow better. But it's yeah, like I'll be like, I remember like my wife, I'm like, we're doing like, hey, should we do these little sessions where she helps me with my energy and my business? I'm like, you know how you can help me with my energy today, and like, like in the middle of the day, right? So, and then it's exciting to her because she's like, whoa, I didn't expect this. This is kind of fun. And, like, it depends in the moment if they're feeling in that connection, but we're like, whoa, wow, this is interesting, right?
Yeah. But just in sex, you change out just something like
Hmm.
a surprise in the morning or a surprise in the middle of the day. You
Hmm.
just change something and everything changed. Like it's immediately.
Yeah.
Like what's happening? What's that?
Hmm. Yeah.
And you can act different ways
Mm.
just by taking just little simple steps.
Yeah.
Like I have a client. This client has problem with her spouse, and the problem was that, oh my god, he always wanted to have sex with me. He comes in the night, he comes in the day, he's always coming, and I don't know what to say. Like what next? So boy, and I'm like, damn, how long are you married? She's like 20 years, and she still looks beautiful, but not as beautiful as in the past. And I said, look, he is still wanting you. He's still wanted. You should be feel your mind has to calibrate to be feel honored, honored by this. Your mind has to feel like, oh my God, what are you giving? What are you contributing to the relationship? Because people think that what I can take, but they're not thinking about what they can contribute. And we men are really easy. Like women, the manual is still printed like new rule, new rule, new rule. It still is not ending anywhere. Our manual is on off, just easy.
Yeah, in a sense, yes, absolutely. Yeah,
We feel love and we do whatever you want. That's look. If you feel love, if you feel pampered, if you feel like if somebody said, "Hey, please drop the garbage in this moment, sweetie."
yeah.
In this, yeah, we will do anything. Like we are really
All
man.
right, all right. What do you need? Anything? Yeah.
Anything. You want money? You want a car? Ah, okay. You want a car?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's easy.
That's
Okay.
funny.
But having someone that loves you
Yeah.
and that take this compromise to instead of I was telling her instead of being grumpy about your husband wanting to have sex with you,
Mhm.
and this is happening because you have this story like men are the ones that are had to take charge of your sexual story. Damn, you're so wrong.
Mhm.
Because being honest, women are really better equipped than men. Like we
Mhm.
don't, I don't know. We have like 100,000 nerves in, I think in one part of our body, but women have millions. We have two bullets. They have a machine gun. They can go all night, all day, all
My
weekend.
God.
Demand. We
the
don't.
pleasure they can have is endless, right?
Unless their
Yeah.
mind is
Yes,
blocking and says,
yes,
no,
yes,
no, no,
yeah.
no. This guilty. This is too much.
But
Oh my God.
yes, yes, exactly.
Two is too much. Two is too much. I cannot more. Have more. And
Right,
they,
right.
that's with two. So, and many, they haven't known what an orgasm because they don't know how to touch themselves. They don't know how to ask what they want. They don't know how to. And look, men want to pleasure. Look, we play the same game, but our
Mhm.
mental thoughts, they tend to make us believe that our partner is thinking something different, but at the end, we're wanting the same.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
women wouldn't be so bad programmed, they
Mhm.
will know that they are so free as a man and that they have more pleasure than the men.
Mhm.
We
Right.
have the story like we men are we are the ones that are the rulers of the sex. No, this is because they program us in the past like this. Because maybe they were scared about women and they were scared about their sexuality. And you can find stuff like that and books like this written in the past. Like we were scared about how they were multi-orgasmic and they were like that in the past. So we men say like, no, that is bad. And we start to lose our virility, and some start point over. In many people start to happen that, and they will start to say, no, sexual is bad because they cannot have it, not because they don't want it.
Mhm.
So it depends.
Right. Well, yeah, you're right. Just like with money, people are like, I don't care about money. I'm like, hey, can I give you $1 million? They're like, oh yeah, 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 bring it on, right? Or you're like I don't care about sex. Okay, what if I could set you up with all the sex you want, each and every day? Yeah, yeah, I think I'd like that, right? Like for a guy, especially, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, yeah, I like that, So yeah, we just start to just decide because of whatever our blocks or hindrances, our beliefs or whatever, like, oh, maybe it's not important to me. We start having a bunch of concepts, all kinds of things, shame, guilt, whatever, all kinds of things. It all impacts our mental health. Coming back to that, as we're wrapping up a little bit, but like, yeah, it all comes down to like I don't feel confident. I don't feel good about myself. It leads to again to anxiety, depression, addictions, like all those things. And I know like you guys, you were depressed. I remember you talking about that and the issues, and then Natty too had issues, mental health. And you guys totally transformed your lives in a huge part by working on this area of life.
Yeah. Well, the thing that it has been a real bit difficult here in this part of our life is that they are not much mentors here
Mm-hmm.
because not many people go and look this. Everybody's maybe looking for a strategy. They're looking for something how to make this, but they're not living their life and they're not walking through the wild to the wild road. They're afraid of living. It's like, but it's like it is fun because you're not afraid of living. You're afraid of dying. You're not
Mm-hmm.
living. You're losing your years. You're losing the time you have in many topics.
Mm, yeah, yeah. A time like today, right? Absolutely. Anything, one little move. Just even again, touching. If you're married, if you just touch your wife, right? Give her just a little touch here, a little touch there. Like now, there's different walls to break down sometimes, depending on the marriage. So, oh, what do you want? Sex? The minute you touch your wife, sometimes it can be that way. Some of them, but no, you just, oh no, I just love you. Just, yeah, I'm not looking for anything, or whatever. Like just being in that connection and how good that feels for you and for them, building that intimacy, including the physical, and yeah, it's so beautiful. There's nothing like it. You build that and you build a heart space and the connection there. And oh yeah, I mean, there's unlimited joy, I think, for both men and women and in that space. So, well, it's the time we have for today. This is a big topic. We could definitely have you back sometime to talk about this, but I wanted to bring you on here because it is a big part of mental health, our sexuality. And the more we can get some education and guidance, which I think is sorely needed. Like, there's not enough. You're right. There's not nearly enough. And I didn't ask nearly as many questions as I want to ask. So I'll have to have you back at some point.
But whenever you want to ask me a question, what I know is like a lot of my wisdom in spirituality has never been about reading other people's stuff. It has been always about learning in the bad way many times. It's like, boom, oh my God, again. And learning, that was, then I got my teacher. I love Abraham Hicks. I still hear every day. I'm a really big fan. I'm a hot seater always that I go to the events. I go up to speak with Abraham. It is like amazing. But I always try to avoid teachers because I want to have my own experience. But in this topic of sex, I was really looking for someone that can help, and it was fun because then I realized that nobody knows about sex, maybe more than me, and it's because we learn it in the hard way. We learn about with the client. We learn how to change, really just making a little change in a conversation with your partner, or just knowing that hey, you should feel honored that I'm still wanting you. Just by saying that, because I don't want this right now. I said like, oh my God, I really want you, bad. I really want you, bad. You should feel honored about that. Maybe next time, and you go. Believe me, that changed the life because woman wants to feel desire.
Yes.
That's not hard. That's their easy button, desire.
Yeah, that's pretty universal right there, right? No doubt about it. Okay, well, if people want to reach out to you, where's the best way to do that?
Look me in my Facebook. We have the Facebook group, but everything's in Spanish. So, you will put a link about where they can find me.
Yes, it'll be in the show notes. Yes.
Yeah. I speak perfect English. Well, not that perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, nearly perfect. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, it's a great start of a conversation. I think people should continue with you if they want to do that, because I know you help, men in this area, and it's an important topic. So, very vital piece of the pie, right? So we talk about so many other things. I think there's a lot more out there about women and their sexuality even than with men, right? There's like, yeah, have your orgasms, do this, do that. And the guy is like, you don't hear that as much you don't get healthy sex education for men as much.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's not only about going and have sex. No. Maybe just if you want it and you have the fun for it,
right,
you can do it.
Right.
But don't blame me. It is about like being able to feel connect, and sometimes you have to kiss a lot of bad frogs to get to know what you want, how you want it, what are your, I say like I don't know, like
preferences, or what do you mean?
Yeah, their preferences. Like this is what I accept. This is not what I. This is something I don't want. But yeah, and the thing is like it's like what I told you. Like the pedophile recognize a kid.
Yeah.
Somebody that has lived his life also recognizes opportunities. And when you know about life and you feel free and you're feeling good about yourself, then when you're walking and you see somebody, oh my God, his energy. And that's when the intuitive part is good and it works because you are feeling good with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So you can trust. But if not, that will be not a good story.
Yeah. Life goes much better when you're feeling good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, Pepe, Jose Javier, appreciate you. I'm so grateful you came on the show. So thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for listening in to Just Two Conscious Guys Talking, where our mission is to impact millions of men ultimately to deepen their awakening by examining their consciousness of what's been unfolding for them with male stereotypes and programming that has allowed them to have opportunities to evolve during these times. It's an exciting time to bring more love to men and women around the world, and we are grateful for you tuning in today. Feel free to share this episode and keep tuning in, and also look in the show notes for a link to get notifications of future episodes. Until the next time, everyone, goodbye for now.